Hello again, everybody. Zagatech is here with my WWE Raw review for tonight, Monday, January the 12th, 2015, on this Monday, the second Raw of the year from New Orleans, Louisiana. The first time that WWE has done anything in New Orleans since WrestleMania week. And let me say this, Raw tonight was a little improvement over last week, but still not a big improvement. There's some decent things that happened on Raw, better than kind of better than last week. One thing, the crowd was better, but still, Raw was kind of same old authority, same old story, same old authority bullshit. Heading towards Royal Rumble, they need to step up their game big time. Heading towards the Rumble, released. Besides going down the road to the Rumble, continuing on tonight, let's just get it out of the way. Finally, it's official tonight. Macho Man Randy Savage will finally be inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame, not the Rock Hall of Fame, but WWE Hall of Fame. Hey, I got Macho Man socks as well. I got my Macho Man socks, my Macho Man shirt. I'm digging it. Ooh, yeah. Like I said in my Tech Sports earlier today, when the news came out that they're going to officially announce Macho Man as the first inductee of the class of 2015 Hall of Fame class. I said that we're all gonna be happy that finally, after so many years getting shafted, that at long last, Macho Man was gonna finally get his recognition, finally go into Hall of Fame. Since, like I said, Vince finally put his grudges aside to put Warrior in last year. Now it's Macho Man's turn to finally get in. But like I said, it's gonna be bittersweet because he's dead. Macho Man's no longer with us. Probably his family works out. Probably like Lenny Poffo will be there. Of course, the Genius. And all that good junk. And all that jazz. And Hulk Hogan will be inducting him. Kind of makes sense because he's part of Mega Powers and all that. But should be intriguing to see what will go down when finally he gets in the Hall of Fame on, I think it's, I forgot what day it was. I think it's like April something is that time. So can't wait to see Macho Man get in the Hall of Fame March 28th in San Jose. It makes sense they announced because the tickets go on sale this Saturday for the Hall of Fame. So they have to announce the first name before the tickets go on sale. This is the deal. So, but before we get to WrestleMania, we gotta get to Royal Rumble. Before we get to Royal Rumble, we gotta get through Raw tonight. So, like I said, okay, things happening well. Not as bad as last week, but still, not much of improvement. Let's kick things off with John Cena coming out. Feeling, of course, dejected after not only being forced to bring back the Authority 2 weeks ago, but seeing Ryback, Dolph Ziggler, and Eddie Warren get fired last week. Cena's like, I am bitching about everything, man. I'm sick and tired of the Authority and their power-hungry moves. Firing people because they want to. Intimidate people. He's like, do you think they should come back? Yes, indeed. And he's like, we're going to end up winning the WWE whatever championship. I'm going to send a message to the Authority. I'm going to sit on my ass and wait for them to bring back my friends. I won't come to wrestle as champion until they bring back Ryback, Warren, and Ziggler if I end up being champion. So then here comes the Authority, which Cena was trying to get a hashtag going. Hashtag Authority sucks. Too bad it wasn't trending, Cena. When Rock does a hashtag, it trends. When you do a hashtag Macho Man trends better than hashtag Authority sucks. Yes, it's true, but I'm just kidding. Macho Man was trending more than the Authority sucks trend. The tweet. If somebody else would have said it, it would be more popular. But Cena said it. So here comes the said Authority. Saying, Cena, instead of sending a message to get your friends back by sitting on your ass, how about get your friends back by fighting tonight? In a match. If you win your match, your friend's going to be hired. And Cena's like, okay, what's it going to be? Another handicap match? No. It's not going to be a handicap match. It's kind of like it. A lumberjack match. I'm not the biggest fan of lumberjack match. I think everybody would agree with me that lumberjack matches are kind of stupid. Because that the lumberjacks always get involved in the ending of the matchup. Especially if the lumberjacks are pro Authority. which was the case as Cena was put in his lumberjack match against Seth Rollins for the 1 billionth time. Yes, they wrestled each other a million fucking times, but still put on a decent little matchup. Not bad for being a Cena match. Because Rollins, despite being kind of shoved down our throats, being with the Authority, which I think he should get rid of, the Authority, at least split for the Authority. So I get a little popcorn in my mouth. That's like one of my traditions is to eat popcorn during Raw. More specifically, I make popcorn from a stove, not microwave. Use real kernels. Pop on a stove on a big pot. That's one of my traditions when I watch wrestling. Especially WWE TNA when it was on a night I could be able to watch it live. So, Cena and Rollins carried the match for me. And Rollins needed to make a big statement because he's in the triple threat match for the WWE Championship, WWE World Heavyweight Championship at the Royal Rumble. It's kind of weird to see him be added to the matchup last week. But hey, they want to make it somewhat exciting. Instead of seeing Cena Lesnar 3 boring the hell out of the arena, let's add Seth Rollins to the match. Well, the reaction is kind of stale because, like I said, he's being shoved down our throats every week because he's aligning himself with the Authority. It's kind of getting stale, like the Authority themselves. No wonder why we wanted them going in the first place. Anyway, despite an interesting effort from Cena, there was some good action in there. Rollins had some good moves, so did Cena doing a little spine buster move. But then, like I said, the Lumberjacks unfortunately got too much involved. Especially being, like I said, they were all pro Authority. Especially J&J Security getting involved in the matchup. Despite all that, Cena tried to defy the odds as usual. Even delivering the FU to Rollins after delivering a big splash over the top rope on all the Lumberjacks. And despite trying to fight the odds, he couldn't fight the odds this time around, as Big Show would be the big factor in losing Cena the matchup, as Cena got knocked out outside the ring, got tossed back in. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins beats John Cena. That means Ryback, Ward, and Ziggler will not be rehired, or at least for tonight. They will be rehired eventually. Everyone knows it. Everyone who knows storylines know that these 3 guys are going to be gone for a while. A little bit of a break. Hey, they need some time off a little bit, and this is the way to do it. It's stupid because we all know the fucking outcome. They're going to be brought back eventually, but still. I hate when they do these kind of fired storylines. It's too fucking predictable. We all know what's going to happen. They're going to get rehired eventually. So like what happened with Cena when he got fired a few years ago. When the whole Ray Barrett storyline, he got rehired within a month. I don't know how long it's going to take Ryback, Ziggler, and Warren to come back. But I know they will come back eventually. Hopefully by or at the Rumble. Let's see when they do get hired. And it was kind of cool to see Rollins win over Cena. That's the thing. Cena lost. Of all the time that I want to see Cena to lose was tonight. Because every other time I want Cena to lose. But he's got Rollins over. Especially, like I said, with Rollins being in the Royal Rumble match, he needed to make a big statement. Which he would later on in the evening. Where, of course, the last segment being a contract signing for the match at the Rumble. With him, Lesnar, and Cena in the ring at the same time. We would see Lesnar come out right before the contract signing, make his little statement, or at least a statement through Paul Heyman, about Seth Rollins being inserted in this matchup. And despite their little relationship, the title match is just like the woman match. No friends, anything goes. Although they may have a relationship going on, 2-on-1 to take out Cena to let these two duke it out. But I even said this on my Raw review last week, that Seth Rollins should just let Cena and Lesnar beat the shit out of each other, let one of them win the match, and then cash in Money in the Bank on one of them. And do another match. Basically, Rollins can basically have 2 championships. That's what I was trying to say. Is that it's kind of weird to have a guy who has Money in the Bank briefcase in the title match because he could actually cash it in if he loses. Which is why I predicted last week. That could happen. We shall see how it goes. So there you go with Rollins getting the victory over Cena. But I do know that Ryback, Warren, and Ziggler will get rehired, but I don't know when and how long they'll be gone for. Like I said, hopefully by the Rumble. Now on to the next matchup. Because the New Day who need to turn heel. I even said it when they first debuted. The little clip. They should have been a New Nation nomination. They blew it, man. They had so much potential to be like an evil heel team, like a Nation Domination 2.0, but like some goody gospel team. You know, it's okay, but it's not getting over with the fans. Didn't get over in Corpus Christi, the most boringest fan base ever in WWE, and it didn't get over tonight in New Orleans. Despite being all jambalaya and all that stuff. Even though you know it's stupid. Anyway, they would team up against Cesaro and Tyson Kidd, who I think should be the next great tag team. They apparently the only thing they didn't get rid of is Adam Rose. I know they kind of got involved with Adam Rose last week after being disguised as two members of the Exotic Express last week. It's kind of that Adam Rose is a heel, yet he's still aligning himself with the Exotic Express. Hope he gets rid of them. Then Tyson Kidd and Cesaro can get rid of Adam Rose. So that's why I saw Adam Rose come out with the Exotic Express with Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. They have a little bit of a relationship going on. Not much explanation of the relationship, but still, it's kind of weird. So we'll see Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. They have big potential here. Great double team moves. They should be pushed. They should get pushed more than the Ascension. I'm sorry. I love the Ascension, but I don't like the book right now. You know, I like the Ascension in NXT, but I do not like the way they're being booked right now as being billed as being better in LOD and Demolition. Especially their promo last week didn't help them. I'll get to that when we do get the Ascensions matchup against Jobbers yet again. They need real competition. I'll talk about that in a second. So despite Cesaro and Tyson Kidd's best efforts, they got distracted a little bit by Adam Rose. And that distraction, when Adam Rose was being confronted with one of the New Day members, he got taken out by Big E, who was at ringside. Well, the two main members were Kofi and Xavier teaming up. And after the little distraction with Big E taking out Adam Rose, I do like the double team move. That's the only thing I like about New Day is the double team finish. With one guy, with Xavier laying down Cesaro, and then, of course, actually Kidd being laid out for a double foot stomp move from Kofi after Kidd being lifted up under the knee of Xavier Woods. Victory for New Day. I just hope they get rid of Adam Rose. I think Cesaro and Kidd could do well without Adam Rose. It's kind of weird. It's kind of distracting. You know, Natalya, good distraction. Adam Rose, unnecessary one. Let's say that much. So there you go. I hope New Day can turn heel, and I hope that Cesaro and Tyson Kidd could do well without Adam Rose. So, there you go. So, now on to our next scenario, with the Big Show coming out, talking about Roman Reigns. Now, these two have had 2 matches on Raw in the last few weeks, both ending sketchy, with the double countdown a few weeks ago after Big Show got Superman punch over the announce table, and last week being a DQ after Big Show wailed Roman Reigns with the steel steps. I think these two will have a puppet matchup at the Rumble. But tonight, Big Show was talking about how Roman Reigns is a loser, like the New York Knicks, who have the worst record in the NBA right now. Yes, a basketball joke. So then Reigns came out, confronted Big Show. Now, Roman Reigns isn't the best promo guy. He talks better with his actions, especially the Superman punch. But his promo tonight, kind of telling the story of Roman and the Beanstalk, was kind of interesting. You know, yes, he's not as bad as Cena. Let's say that much. When Cena tells these kind of kiddie promos, you groan a little bit, but not when Roman Reigns tries to do it. It wasn't as good a movie as most of Cena's kiddie promos, but still, Roman Reigns did a decent effort. There was some good pops from the fans when he was talking about, sticking the giant down his throat, like he was jacking the. Instead of jacking the Beanstalk, it was Roman and the Beanstalk. And the big giant was Big Show. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I'm a big little coward. And that was the truth, as when Roman Reigns hit the ring before he told his promo, Big Show went out of the ring. But then Big Show was back at ringside and watched Roman Reigns take on Luke Harper. I've always supported Luke Harper and his ability on the mic. He's a great mic guy and, of course, a great big guy. He's more agile than most of the big guys in the company. He proved tonight with some great anti-air moves, big boot, and of course, trying to nail that killer clothesline. And despite a distraction for the Big Show in a decent fun match, Big Show even threw a chair, distracted Woman for a second, and almost got nailed by Harper in the process, and Harper almost took advantage of that distraction. But despite that, and also at one point when Superman punch landed on Mr. Harper, instead of nailing out for the pin, Woman did a big move. I like the movie like once up at Harper in the middle rope, that running dropkick move outside the ring. He almost got that Big Show. He got back in the ring and almost got nailed with a clothesline by Harper. Ducked it, spear, in the 1-2-3 victory for Roman Reigns. And then after the matchup, Roman got beat up by Big Show, leading up to the knockout punch from Big Show. So even though Roman Reigns won the battle tonight against Luke Harper, Big Show is wanting to proverbial war, if I pronounce that word right, as he knocked out Reigns tonight. Like I said, they'll have a match eventually. So there you go. Decent match between Harper and Reigns. Both guys are big wrestlers. I like Roman Reigns ain't the best athletic wrestler in the world. He's just a great performer, a great entertainer, a great physique, great power. He's a powerhouse. He's like the breakout star of the Shield. He kind of was, besides the other two guys, Ambrose and Rollins. So there you go. I'll get to Ambrose in a second as well. So on to our next scenario. Of course, speaking of Dean Ambrose, he was kind of punished by the Authority for kind of fighting against them when he teamed up with Roman Reigns on SmackDown. He was punished by being put in this psychiatrist thing. This being put in therapy session. And if he didn't pass his therapy session, he wasn't going to be allowed in the Royal Rumble. And this psych was as crazy as Dr. Shelby, and of course the psych that's in those SmackDown commercials when it's moving to Thursday. We're sitting on Thursday, yes? I'm trying to do my best Ambrose impression when he did the last line of that commercial. It was kind of funny little segment, especially when he was showing the photos. He called everybody hoes, especially Stephanie McMahon, after seeing the photo of Hacksaw Jim Duggan doing Hole. Even Daniel Bryan, who did came out later in the evening, even he called Stephanie Hole. It's going to stick. Like, remember when Lita had the whole thing with Hacksaw Jim Duggan calling her a hole? That stuck for a little bit when Edge was feuding against John Cena. And now Stephanie's going to be called the hole. That's going to be stick. A lot of old references lately. Making a Slick reference a few weeks back. Making a Hacksaw Jim Duggan reference. Even on the pre-show. The Bella Twins were being interviewed or being confronted by Paige, and Paige called them the Olsen Twins. Yes, they made an Olsen Twins reference to Mary Kay and Ashley. Can't say I know that. Anyway, another punishment nailed out by the Authority for people who were thwarting against them was the Usos getting punished. Although they weren't being punished, Jimmy's wife, Naomi, was the one getting punished, as she had to wrestle with one arm tied behind her back against Alicia Fox. Really? Despite the odds against her, Naomi did her best trying to fight back with only one arm in this okay little typical Divas matchup. She tried all valiantly. She tried to fight back with one arm, but she had her two legs to get through. But then the big legs of Alicia Fox became the downfall for Miss Naomi with a big scissors kick move nailed by Alicia Fox midway towards matchup, and the 1-2-3 victory for Alicia Fox, with Naomi losing with the one arm tied behind her back. She did a nice effort, though, and I always like Naomi. I think she should go for one of Divas Championship, but still, we shall see what happens down the line. So after we saw Naomi in action, lose with one arm tied behind her back, we would see her husband's brother, Jey Uso, take on The Miz in one-on-one competition with Jimmy at ringside, and of course, Miz down at ringside as well. They had some like Golden Globe segments talking about the Golden Globes and stuff. That was kind of funny segments with Miz and Miz down. So Jey Uso was trying to do his flying moves all over Miz, and of course Miz down, who also could have won a Golden Globe last night for. If there was an award for best performance by a stuntman, Miz down would win that award. That should be an award in the Slammy Awards for 2015. Best performance by a stuntman would be Sandow. Stunt double, He did win the LOL moment of the year, which is deserved because his performance as Miz's stunt double has been amazing. I've always been applauding and hope it leads to something for him to regain a push that he should have gotten when he was Money in the Bank before it went all away after he tried to cash in on Cena. That's a lesson to you, Mr. Mr. Money in the Bank Seth Rollins. If you try to cash in on Cena, let's hope you are successful instead of failing and end up being like Sundown, when he tried to cash in on Cena and failed. So there you go. Despite Jay's best efforts to try to get his hands on the Miz and get the victory, it was a stretching of Miz down, confronting Jimmy at ringside. That would be Jay's downfall. With that distraction with Jimmy duking it out with Mizdow, Mizdow became a useful distraction for the Miz as he capitalized on that distraction, delivering the skull-crushing finale in the 1-2-3 victory for the Miz. For the second week in a row, he pinned a member of the Tag Team Champions. Last week during the mixed tag match with Jimmy inadvertently wanting into his wife Naomi, Miz would capitalize with the 1-2-3 victory in that mixed tag against the Usos and Naomi by pinning Jimmy. And in this week, with another distraction, Miz capitalized on another distraction to pin Jey Uso. So Miz has pinned both members of the Tag Team Champions, which could vouch him and Mizdow a Tag Team title rematch, possibly at the Royal Rumble, instead of the possible Ascension match. Because I think they're not getting over as well because of their promo, like I said, hurt him last week. So now on to our next segment, involving Daniel Bryan, who, as we all know, will be returning to action this Thursday on SmackDown. And, of course, will be in the Royal Rumble match. Of course, this being the first time that most of the WWE superstars have been in New Orleans since WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan was reflective as he was about to return to the ring. And what better way to celebrate days before he would return to action than to go back to the place where his dreams came true when he won the title at WrestleMania in New Orleans. And he was kind of looking back on the big year he had until he got injured, about what happened to WrestleMania being Triple H, and of course going on to beat Randy Orton and Batista in that triple threat match to win the championship at WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans. He's ready to do it all again and win the Rumble and go back to main eventing WrestleMania and be the champ again. Then he was interrupted by Stephanie, and that's when he called to a halt during that segment. Saying, D-Boy, you want to go through all that again? All the pain, all the suffering, your health. You're going to do it all again. Wish your well-being to once again be on top of the world. And of course, the answer was simply yes. And that's when Stephanie announced who was Daniel Bryan going to face at SmackDown this Thursday, when SmackDown goes to its old night and time, going back to Thursdays. D-Bryan will wrestle the guy who he was feuding with before he got injured, Kane. And Daniel Bryan went White Adam, duking with him outside the ring before Kane would take the advantage, naring him against the steel steps and almost trying to tombstone on the steps again like he did last May. But then D-Bryan would counter, nail Kane against the steps and brawl on top of him before the referees would come in and try to break it up. But D-Bryan kept going at Kane despite the referees trying to hold him back. So there you go, D-Bryan, ready to take on Kane this Thursday on SmackDown, and he looked really vicious. Speaking of people going back to New Orleans after a great night in New Orleans during WrestleMania week, we saw Paige, who of course, in that same venue, the Smoothie King Arena. Don't ask me why that name is the name it is. In that same arena, the day after WrestleMania, of course, Paige would become Divas Champion, making her second debut, beating AJ that night. So she would return to the scene of the crime, and she would take on Brie Bella. Of course, we saw what happened last week. Paige with a little new buddy, Natalya, helping Natalya get a victory over Nikki Bella after Brie and Paige had a distraction, had a little brawl outside the ring, and distracted Nikki for a quick second to get Natalya the victory. So Natalya was out there supporting a new friend, Paige, along with her husband, Tyson Kidd, whose little rendezvous with Nikki would once again get in the way of the matchup. Or should I say rendezvous with Brie, should I say, who is the real-life wife of Daniel Bryan, of course. So, despite Paige's best effort to take down one half of the Bella twins, it's okay, a little typical Divas match, Paige would indeed try to kick Brie Bella outside the ring, but then was catched by Tyson Kidd for some reason. Actually, Tyson Kidd got on the apron as Paige was going for a pin. And with that inadvertent distraction from Tyson Kidd, despite distracting the wrong chick, of course being his wife's friend, distracting Paige for just a second to get Brie Bella to get the pin 1-2-3 victory for Brie Bella. And Paige is not too happy with her best friend's husband costing her the matchup, as he slapped the taste out of Tyson Kidd's mouth, and he saw Natalya kind of smirking as Paige would slap the taste out of Tyson. We've seen these two kind of having their issues with Tyson being distracted with Natalya taking care of his cats. Hey, he was wearing a cat shirt tonight. So, this whole cat thing from Total Divas is getting into the storylines now. Because apparently they have cats and they love their cats. Hey, and it's all about loving cats. Hey, I've got a cat calendar. Well, it's a gift from a family member, but hey, we're all just obsessed with cats. Cutie. You know, and it's all about cats these days. So here's my obligatory internet cat joke. Especially when they're making fun of Tyson Kidd loving his cats. So there you go. So after we saw Brie Bella get the victory after a little inadvertent distraction from Tyson Kidd, we would see the Ascension come out against Jobbers. Again, getting the victory after the Fallen Man. Now, I've been such a big fan of the Ascension. I've been loving them in NXT. I've been looking forward to their debut, but now that they're debuted and everything, I don't know who's booking them, who's writing the booking, but whoever's doing the booking for the Ascension should be fucking fired. Whoever wrote the promo for them to make fun of the Legion of Doom ain't winning any new fans. It ain't winning them anything. Saying that, oh, we're better than Demolition, we're better than LOD, we're better than Wolf Wars. They're not even close to that level yet. They just debuted. Like I said, when they made that promo, they're putting themselves on a pedestal. On a unfair pedestal, and unfortunately, people can be judging upon them. Saying, oh, they should be better than, saying they're better than all these teams. Well, they're not there yet. And that's not going to win them any new fans. You know, that's why I think that Miz and Mizdow are closer to getting a title rematch than the Ascension are getting a title match against the Usos. So there you go. And the Ascension's book, it kind of reminds me of what happened with EC3. I was sick and tired of EC3 for like 3 months taking on Jobbers. And then he finally took on some real competition. How long are the Ascension going to take on Jobbers? They should take on some real competition soon. Should not take 3 months like they did with EC3 and TNA. Waited 3 months to see EC3 finally take on some real competition. So it won't take long to see Ascension take on real competition. And trying to win them some new fans by not comparing them too early to those great teams like LOD, especially the way they look with the face paint and everything. Like I said, I love the Ascension and NXT, but WWE does fall. I don't like the way they're being booked. You cannot blame the Ascension. You know, no one should blame the Ascension. They're being told what to say, being told what to wear. You know, it's not them. You know, I don't think they really feel that way about LOD. It's their characters. You know, the way they were written in the storyline to make fun of LOD and try to compare themselves against these teams. But like I said, they're unfairly being put on a pedestal because of that. So there you go. I hope they do better. Now on to the next matchup. Well, Rusev came out. He was supposed to take on Ryback tonight. But since Ryback got fired, he won't be facing him. That's why I don't like this whole Ryback getting fired along with Ziggler and Warren Harper. Eric Warren. Because it's going to delay Ryback's push a little bit. Because he was leading towards a match against Rusev at the Rumble. He'll probably be involved in the Rumble match. So it's going to delay his push a little bit. No matter how long he's out for. You know, it's going to delay his push. Because he has so much momentum. Now the momentum's slitting because he's not on the program because of his fired storyline. So I hope he can regain that momentum when he comes back. So we do know, when it comes to the Rumble match itself, we do know, like I said, Roman Reigns is in it. Dean Ambrose is in it. Now he's in it. Rusev is in it. Daniel Bryan's in it. Bray Wyatt's in it. I expect him and Ambrose to be physically involved in a Rumble match. And speaking of Ambrose, since Rusev had no opponent tonight, Ambrose, after going through that therapy session and getting his therapist to sign the papers to make him eligible to compete in the Rumble, came out to challenge Rusev in a non-title match, should I say. And Ambrose did pretty well against Rusev. But the knee injured at the ambulance match against Bray Wyatt came back to haunt him as the knee was targeted quite a bit from Rusev. Despite being nailed a few times with the knee, Ambrose tried to fight back as a lunatic fringe self, trying to come back strong, despite basically fighting on, like last week, on one knee. on one, on one leg, should I say? You know what I mean? But the punishment from Rusev on the knee took its toll. The referee stopped the match midway towards it, despite Ambrose's pleading not to stop the match. But referee's fears in his call was right, as Ambrose would get kicked in the face by Rusev after the matchup. Like the Cowboys game against the Packers, bad call when the referee there. And they made a joke about that. They made a Lions joke last week. They make a Packers Cowboys joke tonight. I live in Michigan, so all the Lions fans here are very happy that Cowboys got a piece of their own medicine after the Lions got screwed over against the Cowboys last week. Seeing Cowboys get a piece of karma against the Packers on Sunday. Soon after that, after seeing Ambrose against Rusev, very impressive showing from Ambrose despite a losing effort against the U.S. champion, we would end the course tonight with the contract signing for the World Heavyweight Championship match. John Cena, Seth Rollins, and Mr. Brock Lesnar on the ring at the same time, with Stephanie and Triple H mastering the ceremonies of these proceedings. They were emceeing, they were going over the proceedings. Make sure nothing happened. So, there you go with Seth Rollins grabbing the microphone, saying that, hey, you think I may have weaseled myself into this matchup? That's what Lesnar said. You weaseled your way into this matchup. But it's like, even though many people think he doesn't belong, he does belong. He's ready to kick ass and be the guy to beat Brock Lesnar and become the new champion with or without the Money in the Bank briefcase. So then Cena would come in with the microphone saying that it doesn't matter who he has to go through, he will be the champ again. And then like at every contract signing, physicality would happen as John Cena would do against Rollins and Lesnar. And Cena would FU Lesnar through the table. But with Lesnar down on the table, Seth Rollins would go in for the kill, delivering a curb stop on Lesnar and then delivering a curb stop on Cena, laying them both out. It was a big night for Rollins. He beat Cena in a lumberjack match, a beat with help of Big Show, but still he won on Cena in a match. And he laid out both Cena and Lesnar, as he was the one standing tall with Triple H and Stephanie to end the show. So there you go. I think Rollins could do well in this matchup. This could be a big opportunity for us to finally stand out. He's been touted as the future of the company. This is the time for him to finally prove it. He's been shoved down our throats with this whole authority thing. To step out from that authority shadow, I think Rollins needs a great performance in the matchup. Win or lose, Rollins needs to really stand out in this matchup. It's kind of weird to see him in the match, like I said. It's kind of weird that he's got the Money in the Bank briefcase, yet he's being kind of inserted in this matchup to add additional excitement, since people like me have been bitching about Cena Lesnar 3 for a long time. It's kind of weird. It's kind of interesting to see Rollins in it, though. Even though I think it's weird, it's kind of cool to add some excitement to Cena Lesnar, because we all been bitching about these two wrestling again. But I think Rollins is going to cash in if he loses. And Rollins delivered big message tonight, and I think Rollins does kind of belong in it. You know what I mean? It's like I said, I think it's weird, but still, I think Rollins is going to be a big standout here. I hope he has a great standout performance in the Rumble. Win or lose, that's what he needs to do to really prove himself to be what he is, or what he says he is, the future. And the future is now. He needs to prove that the future is now at the Royal Rumble. Win or lose against Cena and Lesnar. So there you go with that. So like I said, tonight's Raw better than last week. Just a little bit better than last week. But especially going up against the College Football Championship, need to be a little bit better tonight, but still. Little improvement over last week, but not by little. But still, like I said, even though it was a little, better than last week for sure. Some big moves going towards the Royal Rumble. So there you go. So that is it for the review for the next Raw. Thank you very much for watching. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Thank you very much for watching. In honor, of course, the Macho Man. I think I've said it all day in my videos, but I'll say it again anyway. I will end like I've ended all my other videos today with this. In honor of him going to the Hall of Fame, at long last, finally. I forgot to say fucking, because I always have to say fucking after find a fucking leave. I forgot to say that when I was talking about Macho Man in the Hall of Fame today on Attack Sports, but I'll say it Find a fucking league. Oh, yeah. Dig it. See ya. Yeah.